Welcome again to the series of Basics of Economics. Everybody should know. This is the third session and it is on supply and demand, the most basic part of economics. So, the invisible force behind prices. Today, we'll learn the single most important idea in economics supply and demand. This concept explains why prices rise, why shortages happen, why houses become expensive and anything becomes expensive, concert tickets explode in price, why petrol prices change, why business succeed or fail. If you truly understand supply and demand, you start seeing the hidden logic behind markets everywhere. Okay, so the first part one, imagine a lemonade stall. Suppose you open a lemonade stall on a very hot day. So at first, few people arrive, you charge 10 rupees per glass. Weather becomes extremely hot. Hundreds of people want lemonade. What happens? You realize that the demand has increased. Now you make the price 20. Why? Because more people want the product. This is demand. What is demand? Demand is how much people want something at different prices. Usually, lower prices, more people will buy. If you make the prices higher, fewer people will buy. If pizza costs 50, many buyers. 5,000, almost nobody buys. Simple. Then what is supply? How much producers are willing to sell at different prices? How much are people willing to sell? How much? That is supply. So higher prices, producers supply more. Lower prices, producers supply less. Why? Because higher prices mean more profit. So people will sell. Farmers try growing more mangoes. Markets are like negotiation systems. Markets constantly balance buyers and sellers, constantly balance. So if there are more buyers, price will go high. If there are low buyers, price will go down so that people can buy that. And if there are more sellers, prices will go down, I guess. Prices becomes the signal that coordinates both buyers and sellers. Price becomes a signal that coordinates both. This balance point is called equilibrium. The market naturally moves toward a price where supply matches demand. The market naturally moves toward a price where supply matches demand. This is the beauty. So this is a visual understanding. Economists often visualize this relationship using curves and intersections. So first of all, we have y equal to mx plus b. This is a straight line equation where y is the y-axis, x is the x-axis. Typical graph. M is the slope of the graph. That means if we change M from 1 to 2, 1 to more, then this slope, the blue line, is has more slope because the slope is 4.6 now. If I make it less, let's say minus 4.1, it is inverted. Maybe we can put it 0.7, so it has less slope. Now from 0.7 to 1.8, it has more slope and then again more slope. So the slope is m and this b is the intercept at y at the point x equal to 0. So this is the origin, x equal to 0, y equal to 0. The y intercept is the b. So now the b is 5. This is 10 and the b is 5. If we make it let's say 9, then the line intercepts at y-axis at 9 or maybe minus 6. So this comes down to this place. The exact graph matters less right now than the intuition. So demand slopes downward. Now supply slopes upward. This is the upward slope that we have here. So that's positive slope, which is 2.7. This is 2.7 slope. This is supply slopes out upward. And if we make it negative, minus 4.3, and Uh, Intercept is not something that we are interested right now, but this is a negative slope which is minus 4.3. Demand slopes downward. So both has different slope, means one is high, another one is low. Where they meet determines price. So if this is a line and we have another aim, for that we have the demand, for that we have the demand, sorry, we have the supply, and for negative we have the demand. Now these two lines intersects at some price. So that is the price, the equilibrium price that it naturally tends to. Now, why petrol price rises? Suppose war disrupts oil production. Just this is a situation. War disrupts oil production. Global oil supply falls. Global oil supply falls, but demand for transport remains high. So transport needs oil. So demand for transport remains high. Result, prices rise sharply. This happened globally during multiple oil crises. Economics explains it very simply. Less supply, less supply of oil, but the same demand, so higher the price. Give you example. So in this case, let's say we have less supply and same demand. So less supply means the upward slope is less. So let's say we have a line that has, let's say, 1.8 negative slope, which represents the demand. So we have, sorry, which represents let me do it once again, less supply and same demand. So let's say minus 1.8, or let's say 4.5. 4.5 is the downward slope. So this is the demand is high, 4.5, but when we have a 3.8 supply, or let's say supply 2.4, so these two line intersects at a higher point, say 2.4 and 3.4. These are at a higher point. But let's say we have less demand and more supply, then it intercepts at a lower point, which is the lower price. So that intersection determines this price. Now, less supply, same demand, higher price. We go to the GPU example. During AI booms and crypto mining waves, millions suddenly wanted GPUs. But factories, GPU means something processing unit. GPU full from GPU full graphics processing unit. So GPU means graphic processing unit. But factories could not instantly produce enough. Demand exploded, supply stayed limited. So GPU prices became extremely high. This is supply and demand in real life. Why houses in big cities are expensive? Why are homes expensive in cities like Mumbai, New York, London? Many people want to live there. So the demand is high, land is limited. High demand, limited supply, expensive housing. The study of scarcity under competition. Shortages and empty shelves. Bread price can never exceed 10. Suppose the government says that the bread price can never exceed 10 rupees. But imagine making bread now costs 50. So because you lose money, so many stop producing bread. Result, shortage. Empty shelves appear. This happened many times historically. So 10 rupees is the price the government has said. Businessmen are not making money, so they stop. So empty shelves appear. This happened many times. Prices are not random, they are signals. They say something. Why high prices sometimes help? People often hate rising prices, but prices also send some important information. Like if onion prices rise massively, farmers see profit opportunity. More onions are produced next season. High prices encourage supply expansion. Markets self-adjust over time. So market prices are all tending to the natural equilibrium and it adjusts by itself. So this is a point to understand. If the onions prices are high, then next year farmers will produce more onions, and more onions are produced next season. High prices encourage supply expansion. So if the supply is more next time, then the demand is probably the same. So next time the prices will automatically go down. So that is something that adjusts within itself. Very nice concept. Demand is emotional too. Demand is not purely logical. Humans buy because of trends, status, fear, fashion, social pressure, luxury brands. Examples are luxury brands. Some products become more desirable because they're expensive. This is psychologically mixing with economics. Scarcity creates values. Imagine ordinary sneakers, limited edition sneakers. Even if quality is similar, rare products become valuable because scarcity increases demand. Yeah, this applies to art and all these luxury watches and rare things. Supply chains, the hidden world. When you buy a smartphone, its parts may come from Taiwan, Korea, Chinese assembly, American software, Indian services. Global supply chains keep supply flowing. When disruptions happen, pandemics, when disruption happens, pandemic wars, shipping crisis, prices rise globally because of this global supply chain. Part 3, black markets. Suppose government artificially sets prices too low, like petrol officially costs very little, supply becomes insufficient. People may secretly sell at higher prices illegally. This creates black markets. So just like the tickets at some concert, the tickets at 1,000 rupees, you will collect it and then sell it for 2,000 because the prices are low, but the real demand is high. So economics often overpowers rules. Ultimately, you try to control the price. People will buy it and sell it for higher prices. So ultimately, people are paying higher prices. So the economics is that equilibrium that you have to respect. Why business study demand obsessive? Companies constantly ask, what do people want? How much will they pay? What trends are emerging? Entire industries exist to predict demand. Advertising, market research, recommendation algorithms. Modern capitalism runs on predicting consumer behavior. Right. Philosophical insight. Supply and demand reveal something profound. No single person controls most economies. Instead, millions of individual decisions interact continuously. Markets become giant, decentralized coordination systems. The five core ideas you learn today: demand, how much people want something; supply, how much producers are willing to sell; prices coordinate society; prices balance buyers and sellers; scarcity raises prices; limited supply increases value; markets continuously adjust; economies constantly respond to changing conditions. So the real world applications are inflation, housing prices, ticket pricing, stock shortages, oil crisis, product launches, surge pricing, global supply chain problems. So we have the session 3, today's session, final insight. Most prices are not chosen randomly. They emerge from the interaction between human desire and scarcity. Economically, price is the interaction of supply and demand. And this invisible process coordinates billions of human decisions every day. So that was the end of the session 3. We'll head to the session 4 maybe tomorrow or the day after tomorrow. So the session 4 will be why trade makes civilization possible. Today's session was very interesting. We learned different topics definitely. So thank you for watching. Stay tuned.